Hello everyone, my name is Cristina Muro and today I am excited to show you how the Smart Expense One works and how it integrates with SAP Business One, making expense management easier for both employees and managers. Let's go over what the Smart Expense One includes. Employees can enter their expenses from a mobile device or a desktop. This makes things easier when traveling. They can use the mobile device, but when they are working from an office, they can use the desktop option. They can also scan and upload receipts directly. So instead of typing the information manually, they can just scan the ticket and the system will pull all the information automatically. There are three main expenses types: restaurant, mileage, and others. And you can customize the categories for each expense type. Email notifications. Employees will receive an email every time that their expense is approved or rejected. Once an employee submits an expense, their manager receives an email notification, and that email will include a link that the manager can open to approve the expense. And same as the employees, the manager will have the option to approve the expenses from the mobile application or from the desktop. Once the expense is approved, a purchase order will be created in SAP. One of the advantages of this application is that you don't need to have an SAP license to be able to use it. And the administrators can customize the settings, including the categories of the expense types. Now let's jump into the app to show you how it works.
So here in my mobile, I'm going to click on the Smart Expense One icon. And because this is the first time that I'm going to log in, the system is going to ask me the account and password. And here we have the main features. New expense is where we create a new expense entry. Open expenses, to view and submit expenses to be approved. Expense validation, where managers can review, approve, or reject submitted expenses. Rejected, where users will be able to see rejected expenses. Approved, where users will be able to see the approved expenses. Finally, we have the configuration. This is only available for administrators to customize settings. Let's start by creating a new expense. So we're going to click on New Expense. And after clicking on New Expense, a screen will open where I have the option to scan a receipt. But if we don't have a receipt, we just click on Skip. Right now I'm going to click on Skip because I want to show you the different options that we have when we create a new expense. We have three different options. We have restaurant, we have mileage, and we have others. And in each section, we have different categories. So for example, for restaurant, we have travel, breakfast, dinner, and lunch. But for mileage, if I go to mileage, as you can see here, I have only one category. And in others, we have different categories. You can customize the categories for each type of expense. So I'm going to click on Cancel to go back to the main screen. So now that I have explained you the different type of expenses, I can click on New Expense. And now I want to scan a ticket. So now let's scan a ticket. So here, I'm going to use the Take Photo option. And the system is going to ask me if the picture is clear enough. I'm going to click on Yes. And now we're back to the different type of expenses. And the system selected automatically the restaurant type. And as you can see here, the system pulled automatically the description, which is the restaurant's name, the expense amount, the tax rate, and the date. So the only thing that I need to do here is double check that everything is correct and complete the rest of the information. For the restaurant type, I need to click on this human icon to select the guest. From here, I am able to select one of the existing guests. So for example, here I have my name and Damien, or I can just type the name. So for example, David. In the company, I'm going to select Phoenix and click on add. If you were alone, instead of typing a name, you can use add me option. I'm going to close it and I'm going to scroll down to see the rest of the information. Here I have an option to allocate the expense to a project. So here I'm going to select Med Constructions. And then I need to select if this expense was paid by a company card. Now, how the application is going to send this to SAP. Once the expense is approved, a purchase order is going to be created in SAP. And if I select that this expense was paid by a company card, the system is going to create a purchase order using a generic vendor code. But if I unselect this option, the system is going to create a purchase order for the vendor code that is assigned to my user. So in this case, I'm not going to check that option and I'm going to click on save. From here, I have the option to continue creating more expenses, but right now I'm just going to click on no. And then the system will show me the list of expenses that I haven't submitted. I'm going to click on this icon to go back to the main screen because I want to add more expenses. So I'm going to click on new expense again, but now I don't want to scan any receipt. So I'm going to click on skip. So we have seen how to create a restaurant expense type. Now let's create one for mileage. As you can see here, we have the category. In this case, I have only one category. Then the description. So here I'm going to say travel to customer office. Here I need to type the from and to, but as you can see, from was set automatically. This is because as part of the settings, you have the option to set a default address. So then users doesn't need to type the address every time that they create an expense for mileage. But if you didn't travel from this address, you are able to modify it. Now I'm going to select the to address. And here I'm going to type the address. I'm going to type 300 E New England Avenue, Winter Park, Florida 32789. So once I have typed the from and to address, I'm going to click here. The system is going to calculate automatically the number of kilometers. Now I'm going to select that this was a round trip, and as you can see, the system will recalculate the number of kilometers. Additional to that, the system will calculate automatically the expense amount. This is because we have a rate for the mileage, and that's why the system calculated automatically the expense amount. Then I need to select the day, and same as the restaurant, I am able to allocate this expense to a project. So I'm going to click on this project, and then I'm going to click on save. Do you want to create another expense? Yes, I want to create another expense. And I'm going to click on skip because I don't want to scan another ticket. Now let's create an expense for others. So the first thing that I need to select is the category. Again, you are able to set up the categories that you have for each type. So here I'm going to select parking. In the description, I'm just going to type the same thing. The expense amount. In this case, I need to type manually the expense amount because I didn't scan a ticket. So here I'm going to type $15. The amount that you type here includes taxes. Then you have the option to select the tax rate. I'm going to leave it as 0. Then the date. And same thing, you will be able to allocate this expense to a project. And in this case, I'm going to select that the parking was paid by a company card. So I'm going to select this one and I'm going to click on save. Do you want to create another expense? I'm going to click on no because I'm done. And here the app is going to show me all the expenses that I have entered, but I haven't submitted to be approved. So in this case, if I click on submit all expenses, the system is going to submit all expenses that I have in the list, or I can just select the expenses that I want to submit. In this case, I'm going to select only the 3 expenses that I just entered, and I'm going to click on submit 3 expenses. Okay, done. So I'm going to go back to to go to the main screen, I'm going to go to the next option, which is Open Expenses. From here, I will be able to see all the expenses that I haven't submitted. And from here, I can do the same thing. I will be able to select the expenses and click on Submit Expenses. Or another thing that I can do is if I select this option, Submitted, I will be able to see all the expenses that I have sent to be approved.
So far we have seen how employees enter and submit expenses. Now we need to see how a manager will review and approve them. So there are two ways to do this. Number one, from the mobile application, and number two, from the web browser. In addition to that, once an expense has been submitted by employees, the managers will receive an email. This is the email that the manager will receive. And in the email, we have a link. So this is a link that managers can use to review and approve expenses.
So I'm going to click on the link. And because this is the first time that I'm going to log in, the system is going to ask me for an account and a password. And here I have the Smart Expense One, but now open from the web browser. This is ideal when managers are in the office. Okay, so from the browser, as you can see here, the managers are going to click on Expense Validation. And here the system is going to show all the expenses that needs to be approved. These two lines are the expenses that we have created. Why do I have two lines? The reason is because these lines were expenses paid by the user, and the second line is because these were expenses paid using the company credit card. I'm going to click on the first one. From here, managers will be able to see the description, the expense type, the project code, but if they want to see more details, they can just click on it and the system will show more information. This is the mileage expense, and the managers are able to see all the information related to it. I'm going to close this one, and now I'm going to click on the second one. So same thing, managers are able to see the details. Now this is expense where I scan the ticket. So managers will be able to see the ticket as well. So if I click on the picture, you will see that we have the ticket. So I'm going to close it. In addition to that, if they click on this PDF icon, they will see the summary of those expenses, where they will see all the information here that includes the date, the description, the amount, the project. And if I scroll down, you will see all the tickets that were scanned on those expenses. So I'm going to close this out. And from here, the users will be able to approve or reject. In this case, if I click on approve all expenses will be approved. Now from here, if they want to reject one of these expenses, they can click on reject. And here they can put the reason. For example, here I'm going to add, please add the correct customer address and reject. Okay, now what am I going to do with this one? I'm going to approve this expense. So I'm going to click on approve all. And as displayed, the system is sending the expense to SAP, which it means is creating the purchase order.
Now I'm going to go back to my email to show you all the email notifications that happened during this process. Number one, when the employee sends an expense to be approved, the manager will receive this email. This email has the link, so manager is able to use that link to review and approve the expenses. Number two, if for some reason an expense has been rejected, the employee will receive an email so that he knows that his expense was rejected. And number three, once expense has been validated, the administrator will receive this email. And this email includes the PDF with all the information about the expense. This PDF will include all information about the expenses and all the tickets associated with those expenses.
And finally, but very important, we have the transaction in SAP, which it means the purchase order. So here in SAP, I'm going to go to Purchasing, Purchase Orders, and I'm going to click on Previous Record to see the last transaction that was created. And here I have the last transaction that Smart Expense One created. And you will see that we have the item code. If I open this item code, and this item code is linked to the expense category that I have selected. Then we have the vendor, because this is the vendor assigned to my user. We have the total, the tax code, and the project code that I have selected in my expense. And in free text, I have the description of my expense.
Now I want to show you this other purchase order.
This purchase order was created for an expense that was paid by the company credit card. Here we have the same information, tax code, total, project, but the difference is that in free text, we have that the expense was paid by company. So that's why the vendor used here is not the vendor assigned to the user. Instead, the purchase order was generated using the vendor that we have in the Smart Expense One configuration as the company supplier code.
This concludes our demo of Smart Expense One application. If you have any question, feel free to send us an email, and thanks for watching.